TikTok has given us viral dances, trending sounds, and some of the most beautiful men on the internet. But it's also created a generation of stars whose personal truths are as carefully choreographed as their content. Welcome back to Rainbow Spotlight, where we decode the algorithm of attraction and authenticity. Today we're counting down 5 TikTok stars who are so devastatingly gorgeous, so magnetically charismatic, that staying closeted feels like denying the world a gift it desperately needs. These aren't your typical coming-out stories. These are the creators who've built empires on relatability while keeping their deepest truths beautifully mysterious. From former Sway House heartthrobs to underground music artists, each story proves that sometimes the most authentic content comes from what isn't being said directly. Number 2's recent style evolution has spawned countless theory videos. And number 1? His transformation has been so stunning that even his haters are sliding into his comments with compliments. Drop a fire emoji if you've ever felt that unmistakable energy through your phone screen, because what we're about to reveal proves that authenticity always finds a way to shine through, even in 60-second clips. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight because this countdown is about to get very, very hot. Noah Beck, the soccer star who scored something bigger. When Noah Beck first downloaded TikTok in 2019, he was just another college soccer player with good cheekbones and decent dance moves. Here was a 23-year-old from Arizona who could perform trending choreography and deliver lifestyle content with all-American charm. But somewhere between accumulating 33 million TikTok followers, 8.8 million Instagram followers, and becoming one of the most searched creators on the platform, Beck evolved from wholesome athlete into something far more complex and intriguing. His transformation from safe teen heartthrob to sophisticated content creator represents one of the most compelling evolutions in social media history, and has left millions wondering what stories he's not telling in those perfectly curated posts. The numbers speak to unprecedented influence. Over 2 billion total video views, brand partnerships worth millions with companies like Louis Vuitton and Hugo Boss, and modeling contracts that have established him as more than just a social media personality. Fellow creators like Dixie D'Amelio have called him one of the most genuine people in this space, while brand executives praise his natural ability to connect with diverse audiences. But Beck himself has always been thoughtful about authenticity versus performance. I think people can sense when you're being real versus when you're just giving them what they want to see. The challenge is figuring out how much of your real self you're ready to share. It's a philosophy that seems to guide his increasingly sophisticated approach to content creation and personal brand management. What makes Beck's energy so captivating is how naturally he's evolved from basic thirst traps to artistic content that suggests depth beyond surface appeal. His TikTok content has become increasingly cinematic and emotionally complex. Think artistic photography, vulnerable storytelling, and fashion-forward styling that pushes traditional masculine boundaries without making a big show of it. His collaboration with high-end fashion photographers has resulted in content that feels more like editorial campaigns than typical influencer posts. His recent Calvin Klein partnership featured imagery so striking it sparked conversations about male beauty standards and authentic self-expression across multiple platforms. The internet has become particularly fascinated by Beck's friendship dynamics and creative collaborations, especially his close relationships with openly gay creators and queer artists in the industry. His podcast appearances and long-form content reveal someone far more introspective and emotionally intelligent than his early dance videos suggested. His discussions about mental health, authentic living, and the pressure of public personas feel deeply personal rather than performatively vulnerable. I think we're all just trying to figure out who we are while the whole world is watching, he reflected recently. That's simultaneously terrifying and liberating. What's most compelling is how Beck has used his massive platform to subtly advocate for authentic self-expression and mental health awareness, while maintaining the kind of aspirational lifestyle content that built his following. His choice of brand partnerships shows clear preference for companies that support LGBTQ+ causes and diverse representation. His content evolution demonstrates someone interested in meaningful storytelling rather than just algorithmic success. The most telling aspect of Beck's trajectory is his gravitational pull toward artistic projects and creative collaborations that prioritize authentic expression over viral potential. His upcoming modeling campaigns and potential acting projects suggest someone ready to explore new facets of his creativity and identity. Industry observers note his comfort level with gender-fluid fashion and artistic expression that goes beyond typical male influencer territory. Whether through his increasingly sophisticated content, his stunning visual evolution, or his thoughtful approach to fame and authenticity, Beck represents something significant about modern celebrity. Proof that sometimes the most magnetic personalities are those brave enough to grow beyond their original image while keeping their audience guessing about what might come next. Drop a 1 if Noah Beck's evolution makes you believe that the most attractive thing about anyone is their willingness to keep growing and surprising us. Chase Hudson, Lil Huddy, the pop-punk prince who found his crown. When Chase Hudson first gained TikTok fame as Lil Huddy, he seemed destined to remain the archetypal bad boy heartthrob, all eyeliner, attitude, and carefully tousled hair designed to make teenage hearts race. Here was a 21-year-old from California who could rack up millions of views with lip-sync videos and edgy aesthetic posts. But his pop-punk persona felt more like costume than authentic self-expression. Throughout 2025, Hudson hasn't just evolved his content, he's completely revolutionized what a male TikTok star can be, transforming from manufactured rebellion into genuine artistic expression that has left his 31 million followers wondering if they ever really knew him at all. The statistics tell a story of remarkable artistic growth. Over 1.5 billion total TikTok views, his debut album Teenage Heartbreak reaching #47 on the Billboard 200, and brand partnerships with luxury fashion houses that recognize his evolving cultural influence. Machine Gun Kelly called him fearless in his artistic vision, while photographers consistently praise his natural ability to embody different aesthetics authentically. But Hudson himself has been philosophical about transformation and authenticity. I think the most honest thing you can do is stop trying to be what people expect and start exploring who you actually are, even if that scares some of your fans. It's a perspective that has guided his stunning evolution throughout 2025. What makes Hudson's glow-up so mesmerizing is how fearlessly he's embraced gender-fluid expression while maintaining his edge and authenticity. His TikTok content now features experimental makeup tutorials, nail art showcases, and fashion content that consistently pushes boundaries and generates millions of views from audiences hungry for authentic self-expression. His collaboration with high-end makeup artists and fashion designers has resulted in looks that blur traditional gender lines while celebrating individual creativity. His recent Marc Jacobs campaign, featuring him in flowing fabrics, bold jewelry, and artistic makeup, broke the internet with its unapologetic celebration of fluid masculinity. The internet has become absolutely captivated by Hudson's music evolution and the themes his songs explore. His lyrics increasingly address identity, authentic self-expression, and the complexity of modern relationships with a sophistication that surprised critics and fans alike. His music videos feature gender-bending styling, artistic cinematography, and vulnerable performances that feel more like art films than typical pop content. His live performances have evolved from basic lip-syncing to elaborate artistic presentations that showcase his growth as both musician and visual artist. What's most compelling is how naturally Hudson discusses gender expression, artistic freedom, and the evolution of masculinity in interviews and long-form content. His responses feel genuine rather than calculated for viral potential, suggesting someone who's thought deeply about identity and authentic living. His social media presence has evolved to include advocacy content, artistic collaborations, and behind-the-scenes creative processes that reveal someone far more complex than his original bad boy image suggested. The most powerful aspect of Hudson's transformation is how he's used his platform to normalize gender-fluid expression and artistic experimentation for young male audiences who rarely see this kind of representation in mainstream media. His brand partnerships increasingly focus on companies that support LGBTQ+ causes and authentic self-expression. His upcoming music projects promise to showcase even more artistic growth and personal vulnerability. Whether through his boundary-pushing fashion choices, his emotionally complex music, or his fearless approach to gender expression, Hudson represents something revolutionary about contemporary masculinity. Proof that the most attractive rebellion is the one against limiting yourself to other people's expectations of who you should be. Drop a 2 if Chase Hudson's artistic rebellion makes you want to explore every part of your creative and personal identity without apology. Vinnie Hacker, the model who mastered the art of mystery. When Vinnie Hacker first appeared on TikTok, he seemed almost too perfect to be real. All sharp jawlines, brooding stares, and the kind of effortless beauty that made screens glow brighter. Here was a 21-year-old from Seattle who could accumulate 15 million TikTok followers and 5 million Instagram followers with minimal effort, simply by existing in front of cameras with model-perfect features and natural charisma. But what started as basic thirst trap content has evolved into something far more sophisticated and intriguing throughout 2025. Hacker's transformation from pretty face to mysterious creative force represents one of the most compelling evolutions in influencer culture and has left millions wondering what depths lie behind those perfectly sculpted features. The numbers reflect unprecedented visual appeal. Calvin Klein campaigns, modeling contracts with top agencies, and social media engagement rates that consistently outperform creators with much larger followings. Photographers consistently describe working with him as effortless magic, while brand executives praise his natural ability to embody any aesthetic authentically. But Hacker himself has always been philosophical about beauty and authenticity. I think people sometimes assume that looking a certain way means you don't have depth or complexity, but everyone contains multitudes regardless of what they look like on the surface. It's a perspective that has guided his evolution from basic content creator to sophisticated visual artist and cultural commentator. What makes Hacker's energy so magnetic is how naturally he's balanced mainstream appeal with artistic integrity and personal mystery. His TikTok content has become increasingly cinematic and emotionally complex, featuring artistic photography, experimental video techniques, and collaborative projects with emerging creatives that showcase his range beyond traditional modeling. His Instagram aesthetic has evolved into a carefully curated gallery of editorial photography, behind-the-scenes creative content, and artistic collaborations that feel more like fine art than typical influencer posts. His recent Fashion Week appearances generated massive media attention not just for his looks, but for his thoughtful commentary on representation, authenticity, and the evolution of male beauty standards. The internet has become fascinated by Hacker's creative projects and artistic collaborations, particularly his work with photographers, filmmakers, and fashion designers who recognize his potential beyond conventional modeling. His long-form content and podcast appearances reveal someone far more introspective and intellectually curious than his striking appearance might suggest. His discussions about mental health, authentic self-expression, and the pressure of public beauty standards feel deeply personal and genuinely vulnerable. I think the most interesting people are the ones who surprise you, he reflected recently, who challenge your assumptions about who they are based on what they look like. What's most compelling is how Hacker has used his platform to advocate for authentic self-expression and mental health awareness while building a career that prioritizes artistic integrity over algorithmic success. His choice of brand partnerships shows clear preference for companies that support diverse representation and meaningful causes. His upcoming creative projects suggest someone interested in filmmaking, photography, and artistic collaboration rather than just traditional influencer content. The most telling aspect of Hacker's trajectory is his gravitational pull toward independent artists, creative directors, and projects that challenge conventional beauty standards while celebrating individual expression. His approach to fame feels both contemporary and timeless. Someone who understands that true magnetism comes from depth rather than surface appeal, mystery rather than overexposure. Whether through his stunning visual evolution, his thoughtful approach to creativity, or his honest discussions about the complexity of public life, Hacker represents something significant about modern celebrity. Proof that sometimes the most beautiful people are also the most mysterious. And that authentic magnetism comes from the courage to be complex. Drop a 3 if Vinnie Hacker's mysterious evolution proves that the most attractive energy comes from refusing to be easily understood or categorized. Bryce Hall, the Chaos King who found his peace. When Bryce Hall first gained TikTok notoriety, he seemed destined to remain the archetypal problematic heartthrob forever. All manufactured drama, questionable decisions, and the kind of chaotic energy that generated headlines for all the wrong reasons. Here was a 25-year-old from Maryland who could rack up 24 million TikTok followers through controversy and calculated chaos. But his early career felt more like performance art designed to test society's limits than authentic self-expression. Throughout 2025, Hall hasn't just evolved his content. He's completely reinvented his entire approach to fame, creativity, and public life in ways that have shocked both critics and fans who wrote him off as irredeemably problematic. The transformation has been statistically remarkable. Engagement rates up 400% despite focusing on more meaningful content, brand partnerships with companies that previously wouldn't touch him, and critical acclaim for his podcast work and long-form creative projects. Former collaborators who previously distanced themselves have praised his genuine growth and maturity, while industry professionals note his surprising depth and emotional intelligence. But Hall himself has been refreshingly honest about his evolution. "I spent years being the villain in my own story because I thought that's what people wanted from me. Turns out the most radical thing I could do was just be a decent human being and create content that actually matters." It's a philosophy that has guided his remarkable transformation throughout 2025. What makes Hall's glow-up so surprising is how completely he's abandoned his chaotic persona in favor of authentic vulnerability and meaningful creative expression. His TikTok content now features mental health advocacy, behind-the-scenes creative processes, and collaborative projects with artists and creators who recognize his genuine artistic potential. His podcast work has become increasingly sophisticated and emotionally intelligent, featuring conversations about personal growth, authentic masculinity, and the responsibility that comes with platform influence. His recent documentary project about creator mental health has earned critical praise and generated meaningful conversations about social media culture and authentic self-expression. The internet has been absolutely fascinated by Hall's artistic evolution and personal growth journey, particularly his openness about therapy, personal development, and the work required for genuine change. His long-form content reveals someone far more introspective and emotionally available than his chaotic persona ever suggested. His discussions about masculine vulnerability, authentic relationships, and the courage required for genuine change feel deeply personal and surprisingly wisdom-filled. I think the bravest thing anyone can do is admit they were wrong and then actually do the work to become better, he reflected recently. That's scarier than any stunt or controversy I ever created. What's most compelling is how Hall has used his redemption arc to advocate for mental health awareness, creator well-being, and authentic self-expression within the often toxic landscape of social media culture. His choice of collaborative partners and creative projects shows clear commitment to meaningful storytelling and positive cultural impact rather than viral controversy. His upcoming creative ventures suggest someone interested in documentary filmmaking, advocacy work, and projects that create positive social change. The most powerful aspect of Hall's transformation is how he's proven that authentic change is possible, even for public figures who seemed irredeemably problematic. His approach to redemption has been transparent, consistent, and focused on impact rather than image rehabilitation. Industry observers note his genuine commitment to learning, growing, and using his platform responsibly in ways that feel authentic rather than calculated. Whether through his thoughtful content creation, his advocacy work, or his honest approach to personal growth and accountability, Hall represents something hopeful about contemporary culture, proof that people can genuinely change, that redemption is possible with authentic effort, and that sometimes the most attractive thing about anyone is their willingness to become better. Drop a 4 if Bryce Hall's redemption journey proves that the most beautiful transformation is the one that happens from the inside out. James Charles, the beauty guru who rebuilt his empire on truth. When James Charles first rose to fame as a teenage beauty guru, he seemed to have everything figured out. Massive followings, brand partnerships, and the kind of influence that could launch or destroy careers with a single post. Here was a 25-year-old who had already experienced the highest highs and lowest lows of internet fame, from becoming CoverGirl's first male spokesperson to navigating scandals that would have ended lesser careers. But 2025 became the year Charles didn't just survive the chaos of his past. He transcended it completely, rebuilding his empire on a foundation of authentic artistry, genuine growth, and the kind of raw honesty that has transformed him from controversial figure into respected creative visionary. The statistics tell an unprecedented comeback story. 23 million YouTube subscribers who've watched his evolution, his makeup masterclasses generating millions in revenue, and brand partnerships with luxury companies that recognize his artistic legitimacy. Pat McGrath called him a visionary artist who understands beauty as transformation, while Rihanna praised his fearless creativity and authentic voice. But Charles himself has been philosophical about growth and redemption. I think the most beautiful thing about makeup is that it's about becoming who you really are, not hiding who you are. The same is true for life. You can't build anything lasting on pretense. It has to be built on truth. It's a philosophy that has guided his remarkable transformation throughout 2025. What makes Charles's glow-up so compelling is how completely he's rebuilt his approach to content, creativity, and public life around authentic self-expression rather than viral controversy. His YouTube content has become increasingly educational and artistically sophisticated, featuring detailed tutorials, artist collaborations, and behind-the-scenes creative processes that showcase his genuine expertise and artistic vision. His makeup artistry has evolved to museum-quality levels, with editorial work and Fashion Week collaborations that establish him as a serious creative force, rather than just an influencer. His recent Met Gala makeup work generated critical acclaim and proved his artistic credibility to skeptics who had written him off. The internet has become captivated by Charles's artistic evolution and personal growth journey, particularly his honest discussions about accountability, learning from mistakes, and the work required for genuine change. His long-form content reveals someone who has done serious personal development work and emerged with genuine wisdom about authentic living, creative integrity, and responsible platform use. His conversations about queer identity, artistic expression, and the courage required for public vulnerability feel deeply authentic rather than performatively vulnerable. What's most powerful is how Charles has used his platform to mentor emerging artists, support LGBTQ+ youth, and create educational content that genuinely helps people rather than just entertaining them. His James Charles Institute provides free makeup education to aspiring artists, while his advocacy work focuses on authentic representation and creative access for marginalized communities. His upcoming documentary series about queer artists promises to showcase his commitment to meaningful storytelling rather than personal promotion. The most remarkable aspect of Charles's transformation is how he's proven that authentic reinvention is possible even after public scandals, that genuine growth can restore not just careers but cultural respect. His approach to redemption has been consistent, transparent, and focused on positive impact rather than image rehabilitation. Industry observers note his evolution from controversial figure to respected creative leader who uses his influence responsibly and authentically. Whether through his stunning artistic work, his mentorship of emerging talent, or his honest approach to growth and accountability, Charles represents something powerful about contemporary culture. Proof that authentic transformation is possible with genuine effort, that artistry can transcend controversy, and that sometimes the most beautiful glow-up is the one that happens when someone finally becomes brave enough to be completely, unapologetically themselves. Drop a 5 if James Charles's complete artistic and personal transformation proves that the most stunning glow-up is the courage to rebuild your entire life on truth instead of performance. From Noah Beck's sophisticated evolution to Chase Hudson's fearless rebellion, from Vinnie Hacker's mysterious artistry to Bryce Hall's redemption journey and James Charles's complete creative renaissance, these 5 TikTok transformations prove that authentic growth can happen anywhere, even in 60-second clips. Each story reminds us that the most powerful content isn't always the most viral, and the most attractive energy comes from the courage to evolve beyond your original image. These aren't just glow-ups. They're declarations of independence from limiting expectations and proof that authenticity always finds a way to shine through, even in the most manufactured corners of social media. Whether through artistic growth, personal accountability, or simply the bravery to surprise people with your depth, Each creator has redefined what TikTok success can look like when it's built on truth instead of trends. Which transformation shocked you the most? Drop your numbers 1 through 5 and tell us where you're watching from, because these evolution stories are reshaping what authentic influence looks like in the digital age. If you believe the hottest content comes from creators brave enough to grow and change publicly, smash that like button. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight for more celebrations of authentic transformation in the age of algorithms. Remember, your most stunning content might come not from hiding who you are, but from having the courage to become who you've always been meant to be, even if the whole world is watching. This is Rainbow Spotlight, where authentic evolution always trends.